Hey y'all, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm excited to share a quick word with you guys this morning. Thank you guys that are jumping on with me. Yeah, we got a pop up, and I believe that this pop up is going to help you pop up. How about that? This is a pop up that is positioned and is strategically set up to help you pop up. And so I'm so excited about releasing this word. Y'all come on in, begin sharing because I just believe that this is going to bless somebody. I believe that this word is going to provoke and invoke and incite some things on the inside of you. Thank you guys. I see you checking in. Oh, wow. Johannesburg, South Africa's checking in this morning. Thank you all for coming in. Yeah, y'all get on in because y'all always know I say it's going to get good, real quick. And most of you all know that I'm preparing for my wholeness webinar on tomorrow night. So excited. We have over 200 people that's registered for When Loving Me Is Wrong. And I was just studying on yesterday some of the things that we'll be doing in tomorrow night's web wholeness webinar. And when I say we are going to be doing some assessments to see if we're really loving ourselves correctly, if we're really loving ourselves the way we love other people, if we're really giving ourselves our best, if there is some things on the inside that's causing us not to operate in wholeness, are we self-sabotaging our own self? We're really going to be dealing with are we self-abusing? I believe it's going to be a profound webinar on tomorrow. I'm so excited about it. You guys still have the opportunity if you would like to join. We still have a few slots available. You can go to purposepositioning.com. It's only $27. I really wanted to make it, I wanted to position it so that anybody and everybody could join us for it because it's going to be just an amazing day of insight and clarity. And then we're going to do prophetic impartation of healing, emotional healing, and just I believe reconciliation when it comes to how we feel about ourselves and how we respond to other people based on how we feel about ourselves. And so I'm so excited. So I won't y'all be looking for Shut It Down Sundays, but I'll be conducting a wholeness webinar on tomorrow. So I'm so excited about that. Thank you for all of you guys that have already registered. It's gonna be amazing. I'm looking forward to it. So again, thank you for joining me really quick this morning for this prophetic pop-up. Again, if you haven't shared it already, tag your friends and share because it's gonna be amazing. I want to deal with something real quick. I've dealt with this, I remember a few years ago, but the Lord just kind of recirculated it back to me this morning or kind of last night. I kind of start feeling it churning in my spirit, but just do it. I said a couple of weeks ago, I talked about you need the spirit of execution. And so this morning, I just want to deal with something simple. Just do it. I want to deal with obstacles of progression. And I want to deal with this place that some of you guys may be in. And I believe that it's going to make sense for those of you guys that kind of feel like you're all out of pocket. You're not who you used to be, and you don't feel like you're who you're supposed to be. And so you're just in this very odd place where you don't feel the same, you don't like the same things, things that you used to enjoy. You're kind of not really getting that joy out of it. Certain things have been getting on your nerves, things have been agitating. Who am I helping already? I want to talk to people who are in a process of transition. You are morphing. Some things are falling off of you. You're getting a different level of focus. Some people, your life is feeling like here's a good example for it, and I believe this is going to bless y'all. Thank you guys that are sharing. Your life is feeling like you ever had a favorite pair of jeans, and they were your go-to jeans, and you knew that if you when you put them on, like you already knew how they were going to fit, you already knew what they were going to do, you already knew you could just slap on a shirt with it and keep it moving. And then one day you went to your go-to and it was like, this not it. I don't know why. I don't know why I don't like these jeans anymore. Like, and you can't really even say, well, what's wrong with them? I don't know. They just don't fit like they used to. They just, I don't know. I don't feel the same. There's not the same level of comfort. There's not the same they just not hitting, as my daughter would say. They're just not hitting like they used to. Um, that's who I'm talking to this morning. This is who this prophetic pop up is for. Hey, I'm so glad y'all are here. This is for those of you guys that you're trying to go through the motions of where you used to be and how you used to operate and what you used to do. You're trying to go through the motions of doing things the same, but it is not fitting anymore. It just, you're doing it, and it's no offense to anybody. You're not mad at anybody. You hadn't fell out with anybody, but it's just something about the way you guys used to respond to one another, and what used to do it for you. It's just, that's just not it. I'm not, there's something more. I'm at a place where there's got to be more. Certain things you're noticing, and I already feel a prophetic pivot in this. You're already noticing that certain conversations feel very, very surface level. Certain conversations are feeling very, very, you just find yourself like, you know what, let me call you back, because there's something at this place in your life. You're needing something that resonates with your soul. You've been needing something that resonates with who you are and where you're going. I'm speaking to those of you guys that are in a place of transition, and you're in a place where you're shedding off the old, but you're not even sure what the new looks like. Man, who am I talking to this morning? You're getting rid of it. It's almost like this is not what I want anymore, but I'm almost afraid to throw that away, because what am I gonna wear if I'm not wearing that? Who am I gonna talk to if I'm not talking to them? What am I gonna do? Because I've been doing this, I've been cultivating complacency for so long. I've been facilitating a certain level of familiarity for so long. Well, what happens when it no longer fits? Man, I feel a prophetic shift in the wind. What happens when it no longer fits? What happens when your go-to friend, you try to go to them, and it's like y'all are speaking the same language? Whatever happened to what happens when your default, the default destiny? Well, this is what I thought I would be doing forever, and this is kind of what I and that's not even working for you. What happens when it no longer fits? What happens when you feel as though there's not a connection anymore? Like, you know what? We used to vibe. There used to be like a thing, but this isn't it anymore. So I'm talking to some of you all who I believe that is being positioned really to elevate and really to show up different, and when it's time for you to go into a different level of who you are. Man, I feel the wind. Can y'all share? I believe this is for somebody. You're in a place where it's like I was teaching about this a couple of weeks ago, and also I remember talking about it a few months ago. You're in this worm to butterfly stage, this caterpillar to butterfly stage. For so long, you kind of inched around. You kind of just stayed low to the ground. I just need to, everything is stable, everything is, caterpillars, they kind of lay low. They know where they are, they can kind of see what's around them. It's not a lot of risks. It's kind of all right. We can kind of take our time, we can kind of wing it. But one day there's something in you that says, hey, I need you to go higher. Man, I feel the push. And something in you that starts saying, I need to go to the next level. Something on the inside of you starts saying, I've got to exceed. And even though I know this is going to make people look at me different, even though this may rub some of my friends the wrong way, even though this may make people feel as though I'm not with them like I used to be, even though it might make people feel uncomfortable because I'm leaving them behind, I've got to go higher. And so what happens in this caterpillar, man, listen, what happens in this caterpillar is all of a sudden he gets an unction to go higher. Woo. Can somebody say in the comments, I have an unction to go higher. He gets this unction to go higher. He says, for some reason, I don't want to be where I am. I know that all of my friends and my family, these people that are familiar, I know it's at surface level. I know all of y'all right now are at eye level with me, but for some reason, I've got an unction to go higher. And so all of a sudden, this caterpillar starts making this journey. And here's the thing about the journey: this caterpillar goes from a place of familiarity to now a place that's an uphill journey. Sheesh, man, this is for somebody. There's this uphill journey. He begins to find a plant or a tree, and he begins to embark on an uphill journey. Now, a lot of things start happening when you start going on this uphill journey. So the climate changes, man. The climate changes. See, the weather is different when you're flat on the floor until when you get to start trying to climb a mountain. The weather is different. Your ears start popping. All of a sudden, there are some things you start feeling a slight. You can start feeling when the wind shifts. You can start smelling when the rain is coming. The weather is different when you start going higher. And so all of a sudden, this caterpillar starts to make this journey. He starts to make this ascension. And so when you start going higher, all of a sudden, can I tell you, it throws your equilibrium off. Ooh, I didn't even know. This is not in any notes. This isn't even what I talked about last time I talked about this. So y'all know I free fall into faith, right? So all of a sudden, when this caterpillar begins to have this unction to go higher, your equilibrium is off, because at one point you were vertical. At one point you were horizontal. At one point you were just all the way across. It was just everything was everything. You knew who you were. You knew what you were dealing with. You knew what was going on. Everything, you could kind of see it. You know, your sight vision, your sight line was flat. But when you start to climb, y'all need to catch this revelation. All of a sudden, your physical body gets to a pivot, and so what happens is you're going higher, and it's throwing your equilibrium off. And some of you guys think that you're wrong. Some of you guys think that you've done something wrong. Some of you guys think that something has happened, and you're like, this couldn't be it, because I don't feel firm, I don't feel stable, I don't feel settled. Well, it's because you're shifting, you're pivoting, you're being postured to be propelled. You're being postured so that you can go to the next level. You're being postured because you're progressing. And so when this caterpillar goes from lying down flat, and all of a sudden he starts shifting, his body has to start leveling up. And so all of a sudden your equilibrium is off, because where you used to take things laying down, man, y'all better hear this, where you used to take things without a fight, where you used to just lay there and people could walk all over you, all of a sudden you're being postured for purpose. You're being postured to be propelled. You're being postured for progression. And all of a sudden, this caterpillar, his back has to straighten up. Man, what's happening? The reason some things and some people are falling off of you is because your back is being aligned. You're getting into alignment. Your posture is shifting. And so there are some things that are falling off of you. There are some people that were riding you. There were some people that were leeching. There were some people that were just being able to get over on you because you were lying flat. And all of a sudden, when you started getting shifted, when you started feeling propelled to go higher, when you start getting this unction to shift, when you start getting this unction to go to the next level, when you start getting this unction to go higher, all of a sudden you straighten up. And some people that were able to grab on you at one point, pull on you at one point. Wait a minute, you're not in a laying down position. You're not leveled with the ground anymore. And so you started your body starts shifting, your posture starts shifting. You have to get to a very strange angle because you're going to another level. And so here it is, this caterpillar. His body feels like it's been out of alignment because he's been used to lying flat. And now all of a sudden he's straightening up. So now there's this journey, this unction in him, this journey that he starts moving differently. Whew, I feel the wind. You're in this journey where you're moving differently. And the people who were postured on the ground, the people who want to stay where it's safe, the people who want to stay where it's comfortable, the people who want to stay in a place where there's no risk, they start talking to you and they started reminding you, hey, wait a minute. See, you're looking wobbly. See, you're looking, because when you start trying to stand up when you've been laying down so long. Drake said it like this: I've been down so long, it looked like up to me. And so all of a sudden you start moving differently and you're a little shaky. Man, who am I helping? See, you thought you were messing up, but you were a little shaky. All of a sudden there were things, and you were saying, wait a minute, this is not what I'm used to. This is not what I've been doing. It's getting a little shaky. And so people who are fearful about you moving forward, people who are fearful about you taking it to the next level, people who are afraid to take risks in their own lives, people who are afraid to walk out on faith, they're saying you need to sit down for a minute. Are you sure that's what you're supposed to be doing? Are you sure that's how you're supposed to be shifting? Because you could fall, you could trip. You don't look very stable, you don't look very secure. Maybe you should turn backwards. Maybe because down here the ground is stable, and there you go, doing too much, team too much. There you go, trying to be extra. There you go, trying to take it to the next level. You need to stay where you can see. You need to stay where it's comfortable. And you start saying, yeah, but I got an unction to shift. I got an unction to go higher. And so you start making this climb. What happens with this caterpillar as he makes this climb? I need y'all to understand something. The texture of transition is tumultuous. Ooh, this is a direct download, man. I hope you guys are sharing. The texture of transitioning is tumultuous. A lot of times people make us believe that when you transition, that it's going to be so flawless and so peaceful, and oh, the wind of God will just blow. But the texture of transitioning is very tumultuous. When a caterpillar goes through a metamorphosis, what they're trying to tell him is that everything about you is, your body is about to get out of alignment. Some things about the weather, every single thing that you're used to is going to feel different. Where you were crawling on the grass and the grass felt good and you could feel the dew of the morning, now you're climbing and you're about to get on a bark of a tree and it feels rough. You're about to try to climb up a tree. It doesn't feel good. Now you're experiencing bark, man. I literally feel the prophetic wind blowing. You're feeling bark for the first time. There are some rough things that are rubbing against you. When you start shifting, people will start rubbing you the wrong way. Who is this setting free this morning? When you start shifting, you are going to start rubbing some other people the wrong way. Stuff you say, stuff they say, it's going to be agitating because the texture of transitioning is tumultuous. Y'all better hear this. And so you start thinking, what is this? Why are people getting on my nerve? Why are people so offended? It just seems like every time I say that I'm getting ready to do something new, people start getting in their feelings. All of a sudden, when I hear people talking about the same stuff, aren't y'all tired of gossiping? Aren't y'all tired of just sitting around talking about nothing? Aren't you guys tired of going in the same circle? Don't you want to see something new? Don't you want to experience something new? Aren't you ready for a change? Don't you know there's something better? Are y'all not ready to climb? Listen, what happens is the texture of transitioning is tumultuous. And people have fooled us and made us believe that when we shift, when we change, oh, it's supposed to be easy. Oh, it's supposed to, if you're transitioning and it hurts and you're doing something, you must be out of the will of God. There you go. It's because of their own fear. It's because they want to cultivate complacency. It's because a lot of the times they don't want to go any different into anything different. And so what they do is they demonize what they can't discern. And so they got an issue because they don't see where you're headed. They don't see what God is doing in you. They don't see that you have an unction to go higher. And so what they try to do is demonize it because they can't discern it. And so they get an attitude and they start saying, well, you see, you're going to bump your head. You're going to fall. You're going to flunk. You out there trying to be something you're not. Just watch this. You're going to come back sooner or later. You're going to come back down here to the ground where it's safe. You're going to come back down here to a bunch of us where we're not doing anything new. At some point, you out here trying to elevate, but you better stay here because they demonize. Man, I hope I'm helping somebody. Y'all sharing this? They try to demonize what they can't discern. But I'm talking about, no, just do it. This is what I'm dealing with today. No. Just do it. And so as you're transitioning, as you're shifting to this next dimension, to this new place, the texture of this transitioning is very tumultuous. It doesn't feel good. It's not going to pacify your procrastination. It's not going to pacify your perfectionism. It's not going to pacify you, and you're going to feel pushed. I say all the time, people are saying, Dr. E, how did you begin to start shifting over? How did you begin to start shifting into a new realm with your finances? Well, when I allowed God to change my nature, he changed my numbers. I need y'all to hear this. See, my numbers didn't change. He couldn't make me, I couldn't monetize until I was able to go through a metamorphosis. Can I help some of y'all? Because we look at things on the outside and we can see no better than someone dead, Isaiah 59:10. But somebody needs to tell you guys the truth. I always say to people, stop projecting perfection and stop pretending like everything is so perfect. No, there was a transitioning. My nature had to change before my numbers changed. Before I saw manifestation, I had to go through a metamorphosis. And so what happened was I had to start shifting my level of time management. I had to start being disciplined, and I had to start being disciplined in my time and disciplined in my money and disciplined in my level of creativity and discipline in my thought process and discipline in the type of people that I allowed in my space and discipline in how much time I spent on social media and discipline in how much time I spent on the phone. See, we don't want to hear this. I'm talking about just do it. Just do it. Some things had to change about my nature. And so I realized that as I started transitioning, and it didn't feel good to me, but it was good for me. It didn't feel good to cut off people who were cutting off my blessings. It didn't feel good to shut down from people who were shutting down my progression. It didn't feel good to stop cultivating people who I'd been known for a long time, who I'd been dealing with for a long time, when I started realizing that they wanted to keep me into a place of sameness. They wanted to keep me into a place where they could keep their hands on me. See, let me help y'all. Sometimes people, the reason why they don't want to shift you, they don't want you to shift and they don't want you to get you higher, is because they realize that there's going to become a separation. There's going to be a place where you and them are not going to be, because see, how can two, the Bible says, walk together unless they agree? And some people have agreed to stay in poverty. Man, y'all ain't gonna hear this. Some people have agreed to stay in mess. Some people have agreed to stay in turmoil. Some people have agreed to just stay the same. Oh, they don't want to just do it. They just want to stay the same. They just want to keep these same things every year. You can almost map them. You know about February, they're going to do this. You know about May, they're going to talk about this. You know around October, they're going to be doing this. You can map them. And so all of a sudden you decide you're going to shift and you want to do something different. And all of a sudden there's going to be a separation, the wheat and the tare. You're going to be able to see a distinction between them. I hope I'm helping somebody today. And so all of a sudden you're going to be saying, wait a minute, this doesn't fit me anymore. This is, I'm no longer happy about this same foolishness. This is not working for me. And so all of a sudden, when you start being disciplined and being focused, what's going to happen is your ears going to be get real agitated when people are talking a lot of foolishness. Your emotions are going to get real agitated when people are bringing up the same thing. You still dealing with that? Listen, let me go in a do not disturb mode. Let me go. Some of y'all need to put y'all atmosphere in airplane mode. You know what happens when you have a phone and all of a sudden I call it the pop-up paralysis. And pop-up paralysis means that you're not able to move in what you're called to do, because every single time your phone gives you a notification, some kind of pop-up, somebody texts you, somebody tagged you, somebody's trying to reach you, and all of a sudden you get pop-up paralysis. You can't even progress because you got paralyzed by the pop-up. Man, I'm shifting and talking real good early this morning. But some of y'all need to put your atmosphere in airplane mode. What happens is they can call in and you can call out. You need to be in a place of deliberate discipline where you're concentrated and where you're tuned in to this next level of your transition. I need you to tune in to your transformation. Man, can somebody type that in the comments? Tune in to your transformation. It's time for you to tune in to your transformation. You got pop-up paralysis, and every time something pop up, you pop out. Every time something pop up, you pop over. Every time something pop up, you pop left, you pop right, and you can't even put yourself in a place of deliberate discipline. But I'm telling you, you got to put your atmosphere in airplane mode, because it's time for you to tune. Man, I'm teaching better than y'all posting into your transformation. It's time for me to shift. It's time for me to be focused. I can't listen. I don't want to talk to you about your baby daddy today. I don't want to talk to you about how you still trying to figure out how you're going to pay your phone bill. I don't want to talk to you about how sometimes next year you're going to think about eventually enrolling back in school. I don't want to talk to you about this same church meeting you have every other week. That's not what I want to talk about right now. I'm not mad. I don't have an attitude, but God is shifting me. There's an unction in me to shift and to go higher. And so I gotta release no more pop-up paralysis. It's time for me to go higher. And so it's going to cause me to get in a place where I cannot have the same conversations. My conversation has to shift because my spirit needs to shift. I need to be fed something different. What pacified me in my last season is not going to sustain me in my next season. Man, can I say that again for about 250 of y'all? What pacified me in my last season is not going to sustain me in my next season. For the people in the back, what pacified me in my last season is not going to sustain me in my next season. And so what I ate on the front end is not enough for me right now and where I'm going. Yeah, I used to be okay with your snacks. I used to be okay with dipping in and just getting a little bit to satisfy my flesh and getting a little bit to make me feel okay about staying the same. But no, what pacified me in my last season is not going to be able to sustain me in my next season. I need meat. Woo! Listen, my metamorphosis requires meat. I just need to say this again. My metamorphosis requires meat. And so this Gerber, this baby food that you're trying to give me, these dry conversations, this very aesthetic atmosphere that you're creating, you trying to sound deep, but you don't have any new revelation. You're not talking about anything that's shifting me. Listen, I need meat for my metamorphosis. And so that's why I got to get around people who are operating in the language of the learned. That's why, because no more lower level language. I say this all of the time, man. I feel the fire of God. I say this all of the time. You can't take me to the next level when you live in the lobby. Can I say this again for the people in the back? I hope y'all sharing this. You can't take me to the next level when you live in the lobby. And so here you are, okay in the lobby. You're okay in the lobby because see, if you're in the lobby, you can get to the snack machine real quick. If you're in the lobby, everything you need is right there. If you're in the lobby, you can watch people going in and coming out. When you're in the lobby, you can check in and check out when you feel like it. But there takes some sustainability if you're going to shift to the first floor, to the top level. If you're trying to get to the penthouse, listen, I can't deal with lower level living. I can't have lower level language. You can't take me to the next level when you live in the lobby. And so I got to get around people who have the language of the learned. So excuse me if I don't want to sit around and gossip. Excuse me if I can't sit up with you and watch daytime drama. Excuse me if I'm not scrolling Facebook to see who did what when. Excuse me if I don't want to look at your screenshots because you don't want to like somebody post, but you want to screenshot it and talk about what somebody else do. Excuse me if I don't want to hear these same sermons. Excuse me if I need to have fresh manna from heaven. Excuse me if I take that off of my playlist because it's not permeating in my soul. Excuse me because there is an unction to go higher. Man, I feel literal the fire and the wind of God at the same time. I don't know. I did not come on here for this. I promise y'all, I am all off of everything I thought I was coming up here to say. But that's because I have my ear attuned to whatever God is saying in this season. And that for me to be in a position of the prophetic, I have to make sure that I can hear clearly. And so we get to this place where we just got to do it. Does it feel good? No, it does not, but just do it. Is it going to pacify your soul? But just do it. Are you going to always feel confident? No, but just do it. Are you always going to know every single step? No, but just do it. That's how you trust. That's how you free fall into faith. All I know is that I need a new atmosphere. All I know is that I need a new circle of friends. All I know is that I need something else in my spirit. All I know is that what was working for me no longer works. All I know is that I've got to just do it. And so as I tune into my transformation, as I put my atmosphere on airplane mode, as I overcome pop-up paralysis, I get to the place. And so what I came up here to tell y'all, man, and I feel the prophetic wind blowing. Listen, if you didn't register already for tomorrow's masterclass, I'm doing it's a webinar, wholeness webinar, When Loving Me Is Wrong. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. For those of us who really think we've been loving ourselves correctly, but we've been really giving ourselves the short end of the stick. I want you to make sure that you registered. It's only $27. I made it that low because I wanted to give people an opportunity to come in. I want you guys to join the over 200 people who've already registered for this webinar. We're going to be doing some assessments. We're going to be dealing with how to love the hell out of myself. We're going to be dealing with the contingencies of self-worth. It's so many amazing things that I put inside of this webinar. And then I'm going to be doing a prophetic impartation for the winds of healing to blow. I'm so grateful that so many of you guys are registered. I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow night. If you would like to register, you can go to purposepositioning.com. As a matter of fact, before I give y'all these, I'm getting ready to give you 7 reasons why you're talking yourself out of just doing it, because I want to make sure that you guys are doing it. I want to make sure that you're shifting to the next level. That's the link. I just put it in the comments for you guys to register for the masterclass if you would like to. I'm so excited for those of you guys that are ready. Listen, I'm gonna have my prophetic music on when we get to the end, and I'm just gonna let the winds blow. Thank you guys that already jumped in and registered. I'm so appreciative to you all. So we'll pin that link in the comments. But listen, make sure that you register. It's gonna be amazing. And because I'm doing the webinar, I needed to go ahead and do this prophetic pop-up today, because y'all gonna be looking for what y'all been calling shut it down Sunday, and I don't have it for you. So get this. So 7 reasons why you keep talking yourself out of just doing it, and I believe that it's gonna give you some insight. And for those of you guys that are taking note, y'all know I teach. When the doctor's in the house, she's gonna teach. So let me give you 7 reasons why you keep talking yourself out of just doing it, because you gotta just do it. Number 1, you haven't fully discovered your purpose. And y'all know I like alliteration, so everything is going to have a P in it, right? So number 1, you haven't fully discovered your purpose. And so one of the things that you've got to do is you've got to ask God, show me my purpose. A lot of times people have led us to believe that your purpose is going to just jump out the sky, that you're going to hear a voice that's going to come down and say, this is your purpose. But do you know that your purpose comes when you start doing it? Your purpose comes when you start walking, when you start saying, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to, whatever just in my heart for right now. I don't even really know if this is my purpose, but I'm just going to start doing something. I'm going to just do something. Sometimes the reason why God is not orchestrating your steps is because you haven't started walking. That was a mic drop. It's not even a Monday night, but I'm going to drop that mic. Sometimes the reason why God hasn't ordered your steps is because you haven't started walking. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. You got to already be stepping. You got to already be walking. And he shall direct my path. You got to already be walking. You've got to already be heading somewhere for him to direct your path. And so we're asking for God to show us our purpose. But the thing is, I didn't say, just show me my purpose, God. I need to discover my purpose. And so that means I need to be doing something. I'm talking about hashtag just do it. Number 2, the reason you keep talking yourself out of just doing it is because you have no power. No, we're just going to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You have no power. The Bible says that the kingdom doesn't just exist in words and talk, but in power. You have no power. The Bible says that, and after that, you shall receive power. And then after that, the Holy Spirit has come upon you. But wait a minute. He said you should receive power first. See, a lot of us not operating in power. We're operating in procrastination. We're operating in perfectionism. But are we operating in power? It takes power to just do it. A lot of people are just like, Dr. E, I just want that boldness that you have when you just show up. Listen, you know when the boldness comes? When I do it. I don't feel bold when I'm putting this stuff together. I don't feel bold when I'm strategizing about the next move. I don't even feel bold when I start typing in, hitting the live button to go live. But when I just do it, I tap into the power. You have no power. And the reason why you have no power is because you're not operating. You're not moving forward. You need the power. And so you need the power of a lot of things. Listen, because the Bible says that God isn't giving us the spirit of fear, but he gave you love. And he gave you power. And then he gave you a sound mind. He gave you power. You need power. You know, I grew up Pentecostal, and I remember they used to sing these songs like power to walk right, and power to talk right, and power to love right, and power to give right, and power to live right. You need power. The Bible says you have the form of godliness, but you deny the power. Man, I hope this is helping you. Yeah, you got to tap into the power. Number 3, The reason why you are not just doing it is because your perception is off. You think you can't have something. You think you shouldn't have something. You think you don't deserve something. You think you can't. No, your perception is off. I did this mic drop a while ago. I said, stop saying you can't when the truth is that you won't. Yeah. Stop saying you can't when the truth is that you won't. No, you just won't do it. See, I can't do this. No, your perception is off. I can't have that. I can't do that. I can't, not me. I can't. No, your perception is off. Stop saying you can't. When the truth is that you won't. Your perception is off. That's why I say to y'all all the time, you have to ask God to dust off your discernment. I don't want to see through a filter of fear. I don't want to see through a filter of filth. I don't want to see through a filter of fantasy. I need to free fall into faith. Number 4. You're waiting for permission. Ooh, 7 reasons why you won't just do it. You're waiting for permission. We give too much relevance to irrelevant people. Yeah, I said what I said. Can I say that again for the people in the back? You give too much relevance to irrelevant people. You're waiting for permission. Well, I want to wait and see what the people are going to say. What people? 9 times out of 10, the people that you're so concerned about aren't even your people. It's funny in the Bible, Jesus didn't say all sheep know my voice. He said my sheep know my voice. That means there was a very specific people that he was called to. My sheep. Did y'all know that's a spiritual strategy for supernatural success? We give so much power, too much relevance to irrelevant people. And, I put a post up the other day that I used to dress a certain way and thought I couldn't do certain things and thought I couldn't have certain things because I was waiting for permission. I was giving too much relevance to irrelevant people. And when I finally did start stepping into who God called me to be, those not even the people who I'm called to. They're not even the people who support me. They're not even the people who sow into me. They're not even the people who take my classes. They're not even the people who show up at my events. We give too much relevance to irrelevant people. So we're waiting for permission. And the Lord already let me know. He said, you're waiting for somebody to affirm you when I already gave you authority. Can I say that for the people in the back? You're waiting for affirmation when he's already given you authority. One more time for y'all in the back. You're waiting for affirmation. How do I know? Ouch and amen. It was me. You're waiting for authority, affirmation when he's already given you authority. I'm just waiting for somebody to affirm me. I'm just waiting for somebody to tell me I did a good job. I'm just waiting for somebody to tell me I can. I'm just waiting for somebody to give me a pulpit. You already got a platform. I'm just waiting for somebody to give me a microphone, but you already got a ministry. That's right. You're waiting to be validated. Waiting for affirmation when he's given you the authority. He's given you dominion. He's given you the green light. He's already told you. I knew y'all was sowing because I feel the prophetic wind starting to shift. And so he's giving us authority. And so stop giving relevance to irrelevant people. So 7 reasons, again, you keep talking yourself out of just doing it. Man, listen, y'all make sure y'all watch this replay because the first 30 minutes were, I don't know what kind of fire lit on me and I went off. So make sure you go back and watch it from the beginning. Number 5, here's the truth. You're afraid of progression. We just gonna tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You're afraid of progression. You're afraid the unknown, the unfamiliar, the unseen, the untapped. Afraid. You're afraid of progression. God, I just want to be used. Did you know that being used means that I got to push you forward? I just want to be all that I can in the kingdom. You know that means you got to show up, right? That means you got to own your voice, right? You know that means you got to put some seed in the ground, right? You know that means you've got to invest in yourself, right? You're afraid of progression. But I want to be used by God. Okay. Well, 9 times out of 10, when you trace the tree, when you start looking at the Bible, he didn't give everybody a roadmap. He gave them commands. You waiting for a blueprint. And God is just saying, no, 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 no. I just gave you a command. Just do it. But but what happens? See, after I do this, this fine. But then when I do this, what I'm trying to see is then what's gonna happen next? And then you don't hear nothing from heaven. And God is over there, like I said what I said. When you do the first thing I asked you to do. No, 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 no. When you do the first thing I told you to do, then I'll tell you what's next. Oop. Yeah, but see, what I like, what I want to see is, and this is the thing, this is a good question. I need to come on one day and do a Q&A. You won't always be successful every time. I'm so glad you said that. That was prophetic. Sometimes we're afraid of progression because we want everything to be perfect. Ooh, this is good here today. Sometimes we're afraid of progression because we think everything is supposed to be perfect. And we're saying when everything gets into alignment, when all of my ducks are in a row, and I read the scripture a few weeks ago that said in the CEV, because y'all know that's the third version of the Bible that I love, that if you worry about the weather and you never plant the seeds, don't expect a harvest. So what happens? We're afraid of progression because we need everything to be perfect. But I need to be able to see everything. A couple of weeks ago, I don't know if you guys remember that I went live and I was talking about how angry I was because that week had kicked my behind. Like I had the worst week in the world. Like I had a season of wins, and then all of a sudden a week came and just it felt like I was flunking, right? And I couldn't figure out, why are we flunking? Why is it my business doing? Why am I not tapping into this? And the Lord allowed some things to fall flat because there were some structural things that I needed to get cemented. There were some things I need to go back to my team and redo. There were some things that I needed to address. There were some things that if he would have allowed me to keep, y'all better hear this prophetic word. If he would have kept allowing me to operate in grace, I would not have went back and fortified my foundation. Hear this. If he would have allowed me to just continue to operate in grace, I would have never went back to fortify my foundation. It's for about 270 of y'all. If he would have just allowed me to keep operating in grace, I would have never went back to fortify my foundation. So what happened was there were a lot of things that were being easy. I thought that, let's just use this formula. Let's go. We're going to kill it every time. And then we went out there to kill it and flunked. And I was like, wait, but that's my default recipe. That's my go-to recipe. I did the same thing. I did this, I did that. And then it didn't. And he was like, go back. Fortify your foundation. And so I had to go back and have some hard conversations with my staff and my team. I had to go back and revisit my roadmap. I had to go back and do some stuff again. I had to go back and look again. I had to make some changes. My discipline, there were some things that I had become a little undisciplined in. There were some things I had to go back. My people had gotten familiar with certain things and we needed to go back and focus. And so sometimes if we tell the truth, even about our lives, I feel the wind of God. If God would have allowed us to keep operating in a certain grace, if he didn't let turbulence come, man, I feel the anointing right there. Sometimes we thought that the wind was a contrary wind, but sometimes God allowed some things to get messed up too. Some things God allowed some things to get shooken up. He allowed some covers to go back, come off. He allowed us to see some things. He allowed some people to break our hearts. He allowed us to see people for who they really are. He allowed us to walk in something and get to a place where we were saying, wait a minute, I need to go back. And I need to fortify my foundation. This is the grace has come off of me, because if the grace would have stayed on me, I would have stayed in the same. Can I tell y'all something? Because this happens even in the spirit realm. A lot of people don't even know this that follow me now. I have been in music my entire life. So I'll be 43 next week. And so for probably 36 years of my life, literally, I have been in the music ministry, like literally singing, writing music, helping people produce albums, cultivating choirs and praise teams, helping vocalists, being a vocal instructor, just in music my whole life. It was easy to me. At first I loved it. And then it was just easy to me. It's very, very easy for me to just get comfortable and facilitate familiarity. And so when God started to open up my purpose and show me my purpose, the first thing that started happening was the grace for me being a worship leader and a minister of music and a singer started dissipating. Y'all better hear this. And I almost thought that something was wrong. I was like, oh my God, am I out of the will of God? What is it? Why isn't this music hitting like it used to? Why don't I have a desire and an unction to continue in this same path? What is happening? I told you that the texture of transition is often tumultuous. And I say that again. The texture of transition is often tumultuous. And so I started pulling back from what was familiar. And watch this, everybody that was connected with that part of me that was the same, that was familiar, that was accessible, that was easy, that could be used, start getting in their feelings. And I don't blame them, rightly so, because I started changing. And when I started saying, you know what, I don't like this anymore. This doesn't work for me anymore. I don't have the I just don't have the desire anymore. Then I started messing up. Can I tell you, when you operate outside of grace, you're gonna start making a mess. You try to do it because people, it's obligatory, because people told you you should, because somebody said, well, I've been doing it for so long, I might as well. When you operate outside of grace, all of a sudden you just, things start going wrong. Things started shifting. And I was like, this not it. This is not, what happened? And so finally I had to just resign out of it. I had to say, I can't do this anymore. This is no longer for me. And man, I caught it, but it wasn't for me. And so then I went into this period of silence. And I was like, and I actually remember somebody said to me, if you're not singing, if you don't sing, what in the world, what else would you possibly be doing? If you're not a singer, if you're not a worshiper, a minister of music, what else could you possibly even be doing? And I remember thinking at that time, I guess we'll see, huh? And I remember being so hurt by it, but I remember kind of going back to God and saying, hey, so if I'm not singing, what actually will I be doing? And it's so funny that as soon as I left the place where the grace left, I had to leave when the grace left. And I started saying, God, where is the grace? Man, can I just, somebody hashtag go after grace. Go after grace. I feel the anointing right there. Some of y'all, listen, some of y'all are saying, but that's what's familiar. But I feel the anointing. Go after grace. But I don't know where's the grace. Wherever the grace is, that's where God is. Sheesh. Listen, go after grace. If the grace is not there, 9 times out of 10, God is not there. Y'all better hashtag this. I just felt the wind of the Spirit. I felt the confirmation of the hope. Go after grace. You go after grace because grace puts you in a place where, even if it feels unfamiliar, even if it doesn't look the same, there's a peace. There's a knowing in your soul that this is where I'm supposed to be. When I went after grace, what it looked like, and it will look different for everybody. When I went after grace, it caused me to move. I had to tell my husband, the Lord said, move. And he was like, what? Wait, I got a whole job and I'm making money, and our everything is here. The children's school is here. My daughter was still in school at the time. She was my last child that was still in high school. She still had a couple of years of high school left. My boys had both graduated. And he was like, your whole family is here. Everything you know, everybody you know, the people that pay you is here. And going after grace meant, yeah, but we gotta go after God. I gotta go where the grace is. So he sends me into a land like Abraham that he showed me where I didn't know anybody. It was very unfamiliar. It didn't feel comfortable. Nobody was here. But man, can I tell you, the peace of the Lord, which surpasses all understanding, guided and guarded my heart and soul. And I went after grace. When I went after grace, God was there. Go after grace. Man, I don't know who that was for. If that was a prophetic wind. And for those of you all, I always say that are sowing, let me just pray that the winds of confirmation, that's what I felt for every seed in the ground. The winds of confirmation are blowing. If the Lord allows me to do any prophetic declarations after this is over, I will. But I feel the winds of confirmation that God is about to confirm some things. Those of you all that are just sowing because you just feel led, the winds of confirmation, but go after grace. So number 6, let me give y'all these last two, the reasons why you keep talking yourself out of just doing it. Number 6, and this is just y'all know I'm real raw and relevant. Number 6, you won't persevere. You won't persevere. Yeah, I just need to tell the truth, the whole truth. Perseverance is steady persistence in spite of. Can I just say it like this? Quit quitting. Quit quitting. It just gets rough. Quit quitting. Remember I told you guys about the caterpillar at the beginning, and as he moved from a smooth place of grass and comfort, and he started going up the tree, and he had his first experience with bark. The texture of transition is often tumultuous, and as soon as things stop feeling familiar, as soon as people don't support us, as soon as they don't hit the like button, as soon as folks don't do what they're supposed to do, I quit. I don't want to do that no more. I'm over it. I know I like to say that. I'm over it. But I heard the Lord say, quit quitting. Quit quitting. We know what the race is not given to the swift or the strong. See, I feel the wind. Somebody asked about how to sow. I'll put it into the comments. May the favor of the Lord be upon you for your seed. Quit quitting. But it's getting rough. I'll just do this next year. You're missing your window. Quit quitting. They just get on my nerves, so I ain't gonna fool with it no more. Quit quitting. I know the Lord told me to start this business, but I got to a place and it just seems overwhelming. Quit quitting. Quit quitting. Listen, the prize is in the perseverance. Whew, man, I feel the wind. Listen, the Spirit of the Lord has settled here. Quit quitting. The prize is in the perseverance. Quitting. So what do I mean about quit quitting? When we fight, we quit. I said a while ago, don't fight, flow. I'm just gonna quit. I'm just gonna quit. I started to work on this business and it just got overwhelming. Stop quit. I'm just gonna stop and wait to quit quitting. Start asking some questions. Start finding out. Start researching. Well, who can do this part for me? Because it's too overwhelming. Quit quitting. I'm just overwhelmed. I did a whole series on overwhelm. Go to YouTube and subscribe to my channel and go find it so that you can tear down the atmosphere of overwhelm. Quit quitting. Well, I'm just gonna fight God. I know He pulling me to do this, but I'm pulling this way. Quit. I said a while ago, God is not trying to stress you. He's trying to stretch you. He's not trying to stress you. He's trying to stretch you. Quit quitting. Donata, send me an email. Quit quitting. Don't fight. Flow. The prize is in the perseverance. The prize. Y'all better hear this. It's in the perseverance. And last but not least, number 7, and then I'll go through. Somebody asked for me to kind of go back through the 7. Number 7, you don't put it into practice. You got to tell the truth. You don't put it into practice. You didn't put it into practice. You have to keep doing something. It's not going to get easier until you get familiar with it. Can I say that again? It's not going to get easier until you get more familiar with it. Those of you all, some of you all were in my speakers training, my speakers boot camp. Thank you, Douglas. He put all of my 7 in the comments. So there it is. I don't even have to go. Thank you so much. And I was talking about putting things into practice. I was talking about how I always say that practice makes improvement. I operate in the spirit of excellence. But perfection, I think, is an illusion, because I think at some point we can always look to see something that can be done better or quicker or more efficiently. But I do believe that practice um, makes improvement. And so you put it in practice, and as you improve, it gets easier for you. As you improve, so I was saying in the speakers, I was saying in this, and thank you guys. I was saying in this speakers training that when I first, when Facebook Live came out, I thought it was of the devil. I was like, oh my God, why would anybody put themselves out there for folks to see them and look at them and judge them and stare at them and make comments? You know, even now, like folks be making crazy, ignorant comments. And but I put it into practice, and it became easier for me, right? Because I had to just keep doing it. And so that's right. I operate in the spirit of excellence, not perfection, because I think that people need to stop projecting perfection, because now it feels like other people won't even try it because they think I can't do it like this. But yeah, I thought Facebook Live was the whole devil. I was like, I ain't doing that. And but the more I did it, the easier it got. The more I did it, the more I was able to improve. Even what I'm doing now, next year is changing. I'm in the process of changing a whole lot of things about the way that I show up, because we go from glory to glory, from grace to grace, and glory to glory. That's evolution and elevation. And so I'm excited about even what God is doing, but you don't put it into practice. You've got to start practicing what you preach. Y'all know it's easy to tell other folks to do it. We don't do it ourselves. It's easy to tell other people how, but we don't do it ourselves. And so, number one, you haven't fully discovered your purpose. Number two, you have no power. Number three, your perception is off. Number four, you're waiting for permission. Number five, you're afraid of progression. Number six, you won't persevere. And number seven, you don't put it into practice. If I could pull it all together, I say it like this: as you discover your purpose, activate your power, shift your perspective, give yourself permission, commit to progress, and decide to persevere, then you can put it into practice. Then you can put it into practice. But you've got to be committed, and you've got to be resolute, and you've got to be confident in this one thing. I feel the wind, that he that began a good work, if he started working on you, please be patient with me. Y'all remember that song? God is not through with me yet. He might not be through with you yet, but you've got to commit to the progress. You've got to commit to the process. You've got to commit to the stretch. I remember a few months ago, I was teaching and I said, God, we surrender to the stretch. Can we do that today? I feel the prophetic wind blowing. I surrender to the stretch. I've been fighting you. I've been quitting. I've been throwing in the towel. But if you begin the good work, you're faithful to complete it. You're faithful to keep working on me. Whew, I feel the wind. So God, we surrender to the stretch. It doesn't feel good when we have to give up things that we've been pacifying. It doesn't feel good when we want to be lazy, when we don't want to give our time an assignment, when we want to wing it and try to win. It doesn't feel good when you're trying to change our nature, change our habits, when you're trying to cultivate us in spite of our proclivities. It doesn't feel good. Whoo, I feel the wind. It doesn't feel good when we're trying to, when you're trying to weed out the wrong people in our life. It doesn't feel good when you ask us to give up things that we feel like we've worked forever for. It doesn't feel good when you're telling us to cut off people and places and things that are separating us from you, from your purpose, from our power, our peace. It doesn't feel good when we're having to stay up and focus on what you're calling us to do, and then get up early so that we can have our time of prayer and consecration. It doesn't feel good when we've got to turn our plate down because you want us to go into a place of fasting and consecration. It doesn't feel good when the people who we've been enabling for the last 10 years, we've got to start saying, no, You can't borrow any more money because you never paid me back last time. No, you're going to have to do this on your own. It doesn't feel good. But God, today we surrender to the stretch. I feel the prophetic wind blowing. We surrender to the stretch. Man, the winds of confirmation are blowing. God is confirming some things for a lot of you all that are watching this. It doesn't feel good when some of our habits must be disciplined. Our spending habits, our negligence, not loving ourselves correctly, trying to be everybody's superhero. It doesn't feel good. Sheesh. It doesn't feel good when everybody else doing it and we can't, because there's something attached to our name, and that goes against our nature. It doesn't feel good. The prophetic wind is here. We surrender to the stretch because it doesn't feel good, God. When some of the people that we felt like we were called to be in, we don't feel connected to them in the same way. It doesn't feel good when we want to clap back and we want to address some things and you tell us peace and be still. It doesn't feel good when you tell us that if we can hush, we can hear. If we can hush, we can heal. Because we're talking out of the sorrows of our soul, and we're talking out of fear and anxiety, and we're talking out of a lack of faith. It doesn't feel good. When you tell us to leave a place where we thought we were supposed to cleave, it doesn't feel good. When you start cementing us to a place of resolution, because we're used to going from one thing to the next thing. We're used to just being last minute. We're used to just jumping up and throwing stuff together and impressing other people. But you're telling us there's a deeper place that you have to go. It doesn't feel good to demand a new arena of respect, because people have operated in such a spirit of familiarity with you for so long. It doesn't feel good. When you start setting boundaries with people and you start setting boundaries in your own life because God is trying to fortify your foundation, it doesn't feel good. When God is causing you to show up, when you like to post and ghost, but he's saying, no, I need you to be flat-footed, it doesn't feel good. When you thought you've perfected a formula, I feel the anointing. Those of you that are sowing, I speak the spirit of confirmation over every seed. It doesn't feel good. When you thought that you had solidified a formula, you thought that you had this strategy in place, and all of a sudden things start messing up. And the Lord said, no, that wind didn't come to hurt you. It came to help you. I needed to blow some things around so that you could redo some things, so that you could restructure some things. It doesn't feel good. When he causes you to stand because of people and things that were riding your back, and you know that by giving yourself a backbone, you were going to have to lay aside weights and sins. It doesn't feel good. When you're in a place where things are not familiar, when you don't have a blueprint, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good when God is saying, nope, he's not the one. Yeah, but God, he's going to bring destruction to your destiny. That word was for somebody who sowed. That was God. You were sowing because you wanted confirmation, and the confirmation is it's a no. And you already know it's a no because you don't have peace in your spirit. And the very fact that you sowed for confirmation in it meant that this is confirmation. And it doesn't feel good sometimes when God gives us a no, when we were banking on a yes. It doesn't feel good when God gives us a no, when we were banking on a yes. It doesn't feel good when we have to restructure. It doesn't feel good when you've been out of alignment. If you've ever been in an accident, or if you have certain curvatures in your spine, and it's causing problems in your physicality, they send you to a chiropractor. And that chiropractor says the only way to get you into alignment is to bend and break and stretch and push. And it doesn't feel good. It doesn't always feel good. But it is good because God is good. It is good because his plans are to prosper you in every area. His plans. He says in Jeremiah, I already know the plans. And my plans are to prosper you financially, prosper you relationally, prosper you spiritually, prosper you professionally, prosper you. So God, we ask you for the plans. This is a stretch. We surrender to the stretch because we know that you're good. We know that according to Romans, all things work together for good. So I think if I had to leave y'all with anything, it doesn't have to feel good to be good. Because according to Romans 8:28, all things work together for good. Don't feel good. But if it's connected to God, I know it is good. And so God, we surrender to the stretch. Woo, you stretching us. We surrender to the stretch. We surrender to the stretch. We know that you're working it out for us. We know that you're bringing us into greater good. We no longer will say, why is this happening to me? We will now say, why is this happening for me? Because all things work together for my good. So God, we surrender to the stretch. We surrender to your will. We thank you for the winds of confirmation that are showing us that's what it is. That's where it is. For those of you all that caught earlier, the prophetic word to go with grace. Go after grace. Wherever the grace is, that's where God is. When he removes his grace from it, he's no longer in that place with you. It doesn't mean that grace is not there in general, but the grace for you operating in that space is gone. When that grace leaves, when you've been doing something forever and it used to be easy and all of a sudden it got real hard, you lost your fervor in it, you don't go where the grace is. This is not happening to me. This is happening for me. So anyway, I jumped on. I thought I was jumping on just to say, just do it. And then the prophetic pop-up. Thank you guys for jumping on with me. I pray that something was said or taught or given to you all that blessed your spirit, that blessed your soul. For everybody that sowed, I pray even now over every seed. Galatians 6:7 says, be not deceived. He's not mocked. Whatever you sow, you're going to reap it. And so I pray that the winds of the reap blow upon you, especially in this month of September, the month of the reap, that you shall see a harvest. For everybody that's joining me tomorrow for the wholeness webinar, I'm so excited. I'm going for broke tomorrow at 7:00. There are still some spaces available. And so you can definitely come. It's only $27. And we're going for broke. I'm teaching. We're going to deal with ourselves and loving ourselves. We're going to invest in ourselves. And it's not going to be about everybody else this time. It's going to be about us. And so thank you all. I did put the link to sow in the comments for those of you guys that are still asking. and we'll try to have somebody to go and give it to you guys if you don't see it posted. But thank you all so much. Y'all know I pray over every seed. And again, just thank you guys for rocking with me. So I won't be doing like call it the Shut It Down Sunday tomorrow, because we'll be in the wholeness webinar. But this was the prophetic pop-up for the weekend, and I look forward to seeing you guys. For those that won't be in the pop-up, okay, we'll open up a PayPal link for the conference. We'll send that. Just email us. We'll put a new link in today at info@purposepositioning.com. And we'll make sure that you guys can get through using PayPal. Monday, every Monday night, 9 p.m., Mic Drop Monday. It's going to be raw. So you're going to want to make sure that you stay connected with me. And so some of you guys I will see tomorrow night. Some of you guys I will see Monday night. So may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord cause his face to shine upon you. And may he give you peace and peace. I'll see y'all next time.